We're here with Phil Labonte of All That Remains, whose popularity has taken off. What do you think was the turning point? Because All That Remains was kind of, I mean, you guys came around at the tail end of metalcore, really, and then, I mean, now metalcore has kind of, died or morphed into something else.
The thing is, it's like the term metalcore. It's like people, like, if you listen to Behind Silence and Solitude, like, you can't call that metalcore. You can't. It's metal. It's a metal. If you listen to This Darkened Heart, it's still really, it's metal. I mean, it's, you don't, at the time when This Darkened Heart came out, metalcore bands did not have guitar solos. Metalcore bands did not have harmonies. It's like, so to term us metalcore, that was a term that got thrown around a lot because there was a new style of metal coming out, and it was a fusion of a bunch of different styles, and people, like, it became like a catchphrase. But nowadays, like, what people call metalcore nowadays isn't metalcore. And what, like, metalcore was like Earth Crisis. It's like people say, oh, it's hardcore, but if you listen to the music, it sounds a lot like metal. It's the message that they were saying that made them hardcore. That's why they were a metalcore band. They never sounded like a metalcore band. Guitar solos and 8-minute songs on Behind Silence and Solitude with 4-minute musical interludes is not metalcore. You know what I mean? Metalcore is breakdowns, and that's it. It's like we have some parts that are kind of like breakdowns or heavy parts, but it's like we also have, like, I do vocals like Cannibal Corpse. You know what I mean? They're on some songs. I do a lot of different stuff. So it's like people use that term, and I don't care, because it really doesn't matter because people have broken music down into so many different subgenres and stuff. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of getting that specific and saying this is this, and if they didn't have this one little part, it's something else. But if they add one little part, then it's something. It's still metal. It's still metal. So I don't care what people call us. When we talk about our band, we're a metal band. Yeah. Metal's a very generalized, term, and we're kind of a generalized band. We have a lot of different influences, and they all seep in, so.
Okay, very good. Now, you were on Guitar Hero this year.
Guitar Hero 2. Yep.
Guitar Hero 2. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit how that happened, and...
Our record label says, hey, we're going to put a song on Guitar Hero. It's a video game, and I hadn't even played Guitar Hero 1. And I was like, okay, well, that's sweet. I love video games. And then they're like, we're going to put 6 on. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? I'm like, the song starts out with, like, blasts, double bass, and me going, ah! And they're like, nah, it's going to be great. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, no, seriously. I'm like, all right, fucking whatever. They're like, that's the song they want. I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, it's the second hardest song in the game, only after Jordan. And it's done immense things, proving that I really have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
It's amazing. How do you approach the issue of groupies on the road? I mean, you have a girlfriend.
We don't.
You just go on your laptops and browse Facebook? Is that it?
I got a high cell phone bill. Okay. I spend a lot of time on the phone, but I mean, if there are girls out there that are interested in screwing around with a guy who's in the band, cool. That's their thing. If they're grown adults, I don't judge people. If you want to do that, that's cool. For me, I think, like, to be flat out honest with you, like, sex is kind of crappy if you don't, like, know the person, and, like, if you're not talking and like, don't know, like, I can beat off way better than any girl is going to go ahead and be able to take care of me, especially if she doesn't know me, we've never hung out, and she's probably half drunk. Yeah. Seriously. So how is it better to go ahead and be like, ooh, I'm going to take this half drunk girl or this hammered girl onto the bus and she may puke? Or I can go ahead and get in my bunk, watch some porno, take care of business, and then go home to my smoking hot girl and have real good I know you sex. You know what I mean? I know what you like, you know what I like, that kind of shit. It's like, well, what's the point? So groupies on the road, you only have to handle it if you want to, because you don't have to go ahead and, you can go ahead and act like you're interested in them, or you can put your hand up and say thanks for coming out to the show the same way you do to dudes, and people understand body language. I mean, sometimes you'll get someone that's a little aggressive or whatever, and then you're just, I just go ahead and say thank you very much, and I'll go ahead and walk away. But it's not difficult to not get laid on the road. You know what I mean? If you don't want to, you don't. It's not a challenge. So whatever.
I have a couple minutes about our friends at Lamb Goat. You were posting on there years ago.
A long time ago.
Talk a bit about, your experiences, your impressions, what do you think about the site?
The people on Lambgoat are people on the internet. And it's the same whether you from one, website to the other. I mean, the people on Lambgoat, they have a tendency to like bands that are obscure and think they're better than people because they like those bands. And it's funny to me now. I used to go and I'd get into political conversations and it'd be back and forth, and I'd be going I'd be going at it with a couple dudes, blah blah blah, whatever was the current political topic. But it's the internet. It's almost real, but not quite. It's like, because when you type something, you get up and you leave and you go about your day. It's like, so how much does that really matter? It's one person's opinion and one post on one of the billions of websites on the internet. And even the most popular sites, it's still a post on a website on the internet. Yeah. It's kind of like, look, dude, you can't really take it all that seriously, because it's certainly not that serious, but it's a good time and it's fun, and it's fun to go ahead and talk to people and exchange ideas from with people that have very, very different backgrounds. And I like a good debate, probably a little more than the next guy, so it's all right with me. It's good
very
stuff.
good. Is All That Remains gonna ever become a straight out rock band?
Not a rock band, no. I don't think that we'll ever be a straight out rock band. There'll be songs probably that have little screaming in it, but there's always gonna have songs. We're always gonna have songs that are all screaming. When we let influences flow in, from everything that we listen to, it's kind of like, well, to try and stop something from going a certain way when it feels like that's the way it should go, to us it feels like you're doing a disservice to yourself and a disservice to the music that you write, because once we write a song, it isn't ours anymore. Once we write a song and put it on a record, it's fucking someone else's, not mine. Yeah. We wrote it and put it together, but it means something to me. But as soon as you put it out there for people to have, that's not, they're going to take that song and it's going to become something to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we really try and just let it flow. We know what we want to do. We know we don't want long songs. We don't want 7-minute songs, because all of us are like, I don't have the attention span to do that.
You want to support, it could be alcohol, it could be anything.
Well, because it's Canadian, it doesn't quite have the same impact. I was going to start going ahead and talking about support the NRA or something like that, but the National Rifle Association. But I don't know. Buy our DVD, check it out. It's a live DVD. It's live. We didn't go and fix everything and change it and stuff like that. We went in there, we recorded, and then we went and mixed it. So the show that we did, or the shows that we did, because it's 2 shows. The shows that we did are what we are. That's the way that it sounds. There's just a couple little warts on it, and that's the way we wanted it, because we didn't want it. I don't want to be one of those bands that people are like, you get the DVD and it's like everything's perfect, just like the record, and it's like, it's not live. It's not real, because you can go ahead and do you can go and take a recording from a live situation and then go ahead and put it in the studio and then fix every little thing. You can move every little drum hit, you can fill in all the parts that are messed up, any bends that don't quite make it, you can do all that stuff, everything. Anything you can do in the studio, like under a studio controlled situation, you can get the same kind of effect from a live situation. And so a lot of people go ahead and they'll do their live show and then they'll go into the studio and they'll make it perfect, and we're just like, why? What's the point? They want it perfect. Buy the record. If you want to see a live show and see what it sounds like when I'm bouncing around and I'm halfway out of breath and I have to do a 10-second scream and I can only make it 7. That's what happened. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped off the riser and jumped up there before I had to do it, but that's the way it was that night. So I'm really proud of the DVD because it's like that, because people aren't going to get they're not going to get some kind of pristine, perfect thing, and it's a really good representation of what we're like live. And to be honest with you, it's not really bad, which is pretty nice. It's like, hey, we're not awful. We're not the best band in the world, but we got, we'll make mistakes and stuff too, but it's like, we're not, it's, people come out to the shows and it's definitely a show for them. It's definitely we get up there and we try to entertain more than just playing the songs. We're trying to go up and show people that we have a good time. So the DVD, check it out, it's sweet.